Hi, communication students. I'd like to introduce you to outlining and give you a sense of what I'm looking for when I ask you for a detailed outline that has documentation in MLA style. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I've tried to create a potential outline for a persuasive presentation that includes a lot of information. So this is not geared specifically to your informative presentation. It doesn't have a topic that has to do with a particular famous presenter or famous communicator. I just want to teach you the details of outlining. So what is an outline? It is a visual structure of a presentation or an essay. Outlines have a pattern, a basic pattern, and it is broken down into Roman numerals followed by capital letters, regular numerals, smaller letters, and there are actually some tools in Word that will set up an outline for you. And I just want you to know that I will accept their organization rules that get applied. If it starts with a numeral 1, don't worry so much about that. What we're trying to do is to use an outline for 3 basic reasons. 1, it will force you as the speaker or a writer to choose information and to organize it. It will help you focus and evaluate whether or not you have too much information, too little, or not enough at all. Second, the outline will help you stay on point during your presentation. You don't really want to write a script for yourself if you're standing up in front of an audience, because it will turn you into a public reader rather than somebody who's following information that they know well and reminding themselves to go back and include more information or to get back on track. Lastly, your outline will help me as your instructor see your presentation plan along with your citations and help evaluate information and see what you had hoped to do. So how many parts are there to an outline? Basically, there are three parts. There is an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And you'll find an example outline in your text. The body is made up of the most number of subpoints. So you have an introduction followed by a body that includes a lot of information, the most information, followed by a conclusion. So yes, is there an outlining tool in Word? Yes, use it. Select the one that most closely looks like the one I'm going to give to you. And can I give you an example? Indeed, I created one just for you. And I want you to imagine that I'm investigating stress among nurses and nursing students. Okay, so I have an introduction, and I'm going to begin my introduction. I've labeled it just so I can remind myself that that's what I'm working on. And indeed, I have, after I've done a bunch of research, an overall point that I want to make, and that is that nurses suffer from unusually high rates of burnout, often called compassion fatigue. I'm going to follow then with 3 things. In my presentation, I want an attention grabber, and that is something that will get my audience's attention. So a startling fact or a statistic can help accomplish that goal. I also need to make this relevant to my audience. So you can go back and look at this overall outline later on your own. But the relevance is it's in the interest of public health to have nurses who are in good emotional shape for the job. I also need to have some credibility. So in this regard, I'm going to say that I'm credible, not because I happen to be in this field, but I am interested in this topic and have researched it to death. So that's a bad word to use for this, but nonetheless. And then lastly, I do need my overall claim. Now it says persuasive claim here. You are giving an informational claim about a famous speaker. So remember, I created this outline for an example for 2 different presentations. The basic outline form doesn't change. Okay, so the body you'll notice has a Roman numeral point, and it starts with a main point that I want to make. It's a sub-point that I'm probably going to preview, and it includes information. You can see that I am going on and I am making references to information that I find, like I might mention that I got information from the Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education. That's one of my subpoints, and you'll see that this turns up in my list of works cited. I keep mentioning the sources that I use, and I keep listing for the instructor's point of view where I got things. So this is called an in-text citation. Here is my reference to it, and it continues throughout whether or not I am mentioning the source and giving a paraphrase, in which case I have no quotation marks, or sometimes I am using a direct quote, and in that case I quote it just a little bit differently. This site didn't have any page number, so it was an online source. And I also use some personal testimony, and down here you'll see, again, I'm still citing my sources. The last part of my topic is the conclusion. Please ignore the phone ringing in the background. And in my conclusion, I come back to my main points. Here's my list of works cited, and I hope it helps you see what you should be generating. It has hanging indentations. It's in alphabetical order according to the last name of the source, and that's nicely laid out for you using Noodlebib. So I just had to cut and paste this from Noodlebib and make sure that the citation organization was preserved. So good luck. Please ask me any questions on Blackboard.